Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and in this video, just wanted to take some time and do a channel update. I've been doing YouTube for almost 4 years now, and it feels like most of the time I just kind of lug in what I'm doing updated, or what I'm doing with the channel at the beginning of like a Mondays with Mr. Happy video or something like that. However, I wanted to take the time to talk about what's going on with me with YouTube and Twitch, what my plans are for the next several months, and different things that we're going to be trying out along the way. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, and it's probably going to be the main topic for this video, is YouTube monetization. Now, for those who don't know, several months ago, I believe 6 to 8 months ago at this point, YouTube experienced what was known as the Adpocalypse. Basically, a bunch of advertisers threatened to, or officially did, pull out of putting advertisements on YouTube because their advertisements were being placed on videos that effectively were either against what they believed in as a corporation or just weren't really appropriate in the first place. It'd be like finding a Huggies commercial or a Huggies advertisement just before some video on YouTube of two kids fighting each other and one of them getting curb stomped. Things like that were happening where extremist content was presenting advertisements that just didn't match the brand. So what did Google do? Google created an algorithm on YouTube that detects certain keywords, certain audio cues within videos, violence, whether it be in video games or real life, and it basically determines if that video is suitable for all advertisers or if it's suitable for any advertisers in the first place. Now, originally when this happened, I had a handful of videos that got flagged for it, and honestly, they were old videos, and I requested reviews on them, and they all got completely taken care of, and it was fine. However, in the last week or so, I've noticed a lot of my newer content start to automatically get flagged as soon as it was placed on YouTube. Now, again, that could be for a variety of reasons. For one, Final Fantasy XII, I've been posting, not very important videos on it, just a general let's play of my new game minus playthrough. But because I use strong language in it, and it also is a video game depicting violence, by default, the system is now picking those up as not suitable for all advertisers. I have since requested reviews on those videos, and they have been accepted. However, for the first however long they're available, they basically make little to no ad revenue, which is the primary way you make money on YouTube without reaching to third-party resources. Now, on top of that, it's also started happening with Mondays with Mr. Happy. The main reason being, it's a video just like this, strong language. I'll use cusses. I was going to give you an example, but then this video ends up getting flagged as well. And for that reason, I should probably just cut back on the cussing in Mondays with Mr. Happy. It's something that's not integral to the video. It's just me kind of going off in my raw form, without really a filter of any kind to stop the cusses. It's my inner Jersey pretty much coming out in those videos. But because of that, I started to notice more and more videos, even things such as going over a patch, like patch notes or live letters, things like that have started getting flagged on YouTube because it deals with content that depicts violence, or I throw out a cuss word here and there. So it is technically affecting my livelihood on YouTube. I will say this again, it's not like I'm not earning a living on YouTube and Twitch still. I wouldn't say that it's like, oh no, I'm not making any money on YouTube, what do I do? And I'm doing pretty okay, I'd say, for the most part. However, I want to stay ahead of that issue, and in case it evolves further and YouTube starts making less and less, and I don't want to be reacting to it later. I'd rather react to it now and be a little bit proactive about the way that I'm actually approaching handling this issue on YouTube. Maybe the algorithm is just messing up a little bit because every video I've requested for a review has since come back and said, no, your video is good. It's just you had to wait X amount of thousand views before it was definitely okay, so now you didn't make anything along the way. So what can I do to counteract that? Well, simply put, let me say this. I am not going to demand money for my YouTube content. When I first started posting it, before I had any subscribers, I did so under the notion that it was going to be content for free, content available for free on YouTube, and that there would not be a pay gate behind my content on the channel. That is going to be maintained. There will be no content that is deliberately withheld from YouTube because A, it is flagged for limited to no ad revenue, or B, because YouTube is crumbling around me and it's not worth uploading. It's still gonna, everything that's been uploaded to YouTube before is still going to be uploaded to YouTube in the future. That being said, I'd like to set up some additional plans for the future regarding sort of making it maintainable in a sense. So I've done this before, and I've spoken about this before on my YouTube channel. I do have a Patreon, and the main reason I don't push the Patreon all that hard, even though it exists and I put it under videos and it's under my Twitch stream, is because I always considered myself already having quite a few revenue streams, to the point where it almost feels like when I use Patreon for the type of content that I create, it almost, to me, on a personal level, feels like begging. And I know that a lot of people will sit here and tell me it's not. Oh, Happy, you create content and we appreciate it and we should have options to support you. For me, I have YouTube ad revenue, which doesn't cost anyone a dime. You know, I have Twitch, where people can choose to subscribe to the channel, or they can tip, or they can buy cheers through Amazon and use those through Twitch. You know, I have affiliates and sponsors. You know, SteelSeries is a sponsor. In fact, look, SteelSeries headset. Look there, SteelSeries Arctis 7. There you go. It's in the video now. You know, I have them, and then on top of that, I have affiliate links with my sponsors, and, you know, I have the coffee. You know, I have all these different revenue streams, and I've never really had to think about even tying any of them to Patreon in any way, or incentivizing my Patreon in any way. It's just been there for people who want to use it. Currently, that is still the way that it is being operated. However, I'd like to push it a little bit more into the forefront as an option for people who want to support the channel. As such, it means that Patreon itself will require more of my attention, meaning that I have to come up with like real pledge rewards and goals and stuff like that. Something I've never been exactly proficient at in the past. So it's going to be a bit of a learning experience for me. And considering I have PAX West and TwitchCon coming up, as well as whenever we have big patches in Final Fantasy 14, or there's like a big game launch or an alpha, like Dauntless is coming up and Dissidia closed beta, that's all stuff I'm going to be creating content on Twitch, creating content on YouTube. So I still need to, as a content creator, figure out where Patreon is going to fit into all of that. But what I'd like to at least start doing is calling attention to the Patreon in certain videos, such as Mondays with Mr. Happy, the Healer Happy series, which I used to do it before when I had originally tied Healer Happy to the success of the Patreon, which is no longer the case, and other videos as well. I don't want to do it at the end of like every single guide if I, you know, don't have to. If it comes down to that, maybe it does, and it's at the end anyway, so it's not something that's going to be at the start of every video, and you have to kind of get past it to get to the content. But I would like to start integrating that more into the channel. And again, I'm doing fine monetization wise. This isn't something you need to do, and it's not something you're expected to do, but I want to at least raise awareness to it as a preemptive measure with what YouTube is doing right now. So with that out of the way, I will again include the Patreon under the description of this video. It has a lot of placeholder tiers, things I'm still trying to figure out. One of the tiers used to be a t-shirt whenever I did a new Teespring campaign. However, Twitch no longer does Teespring campaigns, so I'm looking to set up a merchandise store, which is another revenue stream that I'm talking about right here. And once I have that set up, you may see me mentioning in videos new shirts that are available, you know, a coffee mug or something like that. I've never really thought that I'm like have a strong enough presence on YouTube or Twitch to really warrant doing merchandising, but I've seen people who are smaller do it really well. I've seen people who are bigger not really focus on it so much. So I figure, again, create the revenue stream, create original stuff for it, and that way, and when someone is looking for it, when someone does want to be involved in it, they at least have the option to support the channel through those avenues as well. And then once I've got that set up and I can figure out what costs are going to be and stuff like that, sounds like a pipe is going off. Hopefully you guys can't hear too much of it. Then I'll start looking to see how I can include physical rewards versus digital rewards through my Patreon, and it'll all work together with each other. For other stuff on Patreon, considering, you know, the pre-show and post-show of State of the Realm or bloopers or things like that. But honestly, I just kind of want to upload that to YouTube. I don't want to make that a Patreon exclusive thing. It's just, I don't know, it's not my style, you know? So again, a big learning experience, and hopefully you guys don't mind as I go through that learning experience, as it's important to my well-being and, you know, me and my girlfriend's well-being and our future, and making sure that I can at least set up something stable for us going forward. So like I said, that was going to be one of the most major points. On one of the other minor points we managed to hit on is the fact that I will be doing a merchandise store with things like coffee mugs. Not this exact coffee mug, I was just drinking coffee from this, but an example I suppose, of something that might be available on there, if not with an updated design of some kind. And then what else was there? And then I wanted to talk about content for the next few months on the channel, because it is a full channel update, not just talking about the monetization properties. As many of you may or may not know, the game Dauntless is going to be entering Founders Alpha this Friday, August 18th. I am one of the Dauntless partners through their platform, and as such, there's going to be some things that I'm going to be producing regarding their game. Whether it be boss guides, weapon guides, you know, where to find certain materials to get upgrades. I'm going to be doing quite a few Dauntless guides towards the end of this month during the Founders Alpha. All stuff that's subject to change when it reaches open beta later this year and eventually launches, but at least a little bit of a preview towards this Monster Hunter-esque style game. If you're planning on playing Dauntless, also keep an eye out. One of the flares you're going to be able to shoot into the air to signal to your allies is going to be this guy right here. The Mr. Happy logo is going to be one of the flares that you're going to see available as an option. So that's going to be a big thing, and that's going to be pretty much taking over the majority of the end of August. Even closer to the end of August is the Dissidia Final Fantasy NT closed beta. I've been giving away keys for that over on my Twitch channel, and I plan on producing character overviews, stuff that's honestly been available from the arcade version for quite some time now, but I'm going to be producing it based on what we get in the PS4 closed beta. So that's another piece of content that we have. I'm going to PAX West at the end of this month. I will have a meet and greet, which I believe I have a finalized time for. So if you're going to PAX West and you can possibly make this time free, Sunday, September 3rd at 12:30, and obviously being in Seattle, that would be Pacific Standard Time, 12:30 to 2 p.m. Pacific on that Sunday. So if you want to come by, say hello, if you even care that I get to do signings and stuff, I'll have these to give away. God, you guys can barely see it, can't you, because of the green screen. Here, maybe if I turn the green screen off, I want to show you the cap. I guess you can kind of see it. It's just that Dwayne behind me ends up fusing in. You can see it's like me riding a chocobo with Aloha, and you can see a Moogle in the bottom right. I'll be giving these away. These are something that are officially branded through Twitch, or if you see me throughout the convention and you want one, feel free to ask me, because I'm sure that I'll have plenty to give away at PAX West. I'll also be checking out several RPGs and MMOs when I go to PAX West, and I'm hoping to produce some content on those when I come back from that as well. Moving on into September, we obviously have the 14-hour stream for the 4-year anniversary of Final Fantasy XIV. As such, we are going to have a live letter from that, which of course I plan to produce content on, and of course content leading up to patch 4.1, as well as content on 4.1 itself, which we're currently projecting will probably be sometime early to mid-October. So as you can see, we have a lot of plans going forward. I also want to produce some content, continue to produce some content on Final Fantasy XII, even though Final Fantasy XII now, it's kind of getting to the point where not so many people are thinking about it. But I have other plans as well, especially depending on how the Patreon ends up planning out, as well as some other returning series, even potentially another return to Final Fantasy XI. As I did state in my most recent Final Fantasy XI video, I do quite prefer the way that Final Fantasy XI is playing right now and is becoming accessible right now. I find myself able to actually play it and not need to worry so much about all of the old problems that the game used to have when it was in its prime. Can't really call them problems, but it wasn't great for me, and it wouldn't be great for me if the game still worked that way. But anyway, I just wanted to produce this video again, give you the update on what I've been working on. I'm still working on the 04 Savage guide with all the stuff that's been going on with me trying to figure this out. It's definitely not been something that's been on the forefront, but the script is finished. I've got pretty much all of the footage actually already set. So it really just comes down to, at this point, I got to sit down, record it, edit it, and it'll be good to go. But anyway, on that note, I'm going to wrap up this video. Hopefully you guys didn't mind the primary topics of the video itself, and I'll be sure to produce an update video when things are more set in stone, if I have new Patreon tiers, when the merchandise store is set up, and now my internet is screwing up, so it looks like I have one more thing to go deal with before I'm actually done for the day. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share, and stay tuned, because like I said, we got some other stuff that I'm planning for the channel in the near future, and of course, I got to keep you up to date on all the other things that are going on behind the scenes. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, take care.